Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving break too. And I'm talking to myself as much as anybody right now, but there's a pitfall if you're not careful. We just had a week where we didn't have to think about classes or anything like that. And the holiday break is coming up soon too. So it's like, man, that was really nice. We get a couple weeks then between semesters. And if you're not careful, you can kind of coast it in here in the last couple weeks. Um, we still have class. We've got a 2.5 weeks worth of class left. And there's some really important stuff that's going on in that time too. All right. So again, this is just as much me because I really enjoyed that break too, but we all got stuff that we got to do between now and then. So this week, you have it's the Plant Structure and Organization Part 1 lecture to do. What we've already talked about diversity of plants and evolution and things like that. So what we're going to look at in these are the different parts of plants and the different like microscopic structure that makes up plants. Part 1 is this week, and then next week we're going to watch Part 2. The good news is that your final, Exam 5, is just on those two lectures. It's just on Plant Structure and Organization Part 1 and then Part 2. So the great news about that is that it's not a ton of material, kind of like the last test. There was a lot of stuff because we were looking at fungi and plants. This one is a lot smaller amount of information. You still have to study. Make sure you hear that. You got to prepare, you've got to study, but that should be a really good chance to finish with a good grade because it's not as much material on this last test. All right. So watch that this week, and your review quiz is going to be December 6th is the due date for that, Sunday, December 6th. All right. Make sure you take that. Make sure you really understand that material because next week we're going to add Part 2, and then the week after that, the test is at the beginning of the week. All right. The other thing, great news here, is that your last lab assignment is also due this week, December 6th. And after that, we're done with labs. So this one is on plant structure, and I've got it in the notes here. But if you remember the fungi lab that we did a few weeks ago, that was not hands-on labs. It was a folder that was down at the bottom of your lab tab. You had a document that had like the background information that you needed to read. It had a worksheet where it had some matching and some short answer type questions. And then the big thing was that there was a visual identification part. You had one document that had all these pictures of fungi with like arrows, and you had to name what those parts were. You also had a guide that showed you the names of all those parts, and you just had to type in the names for all those structures. All right. I know that sounds almost kind of like busy work, but that's one of the things we have to cover is making sure that you can identify these different parts. So that's the best way we have to do that because hands-on labs doesn't include a lab for this. All right. So that is due December 6th. This one, the visual identification, I think there's like 100 things you have to label. On the fungi, it was only 50. So that's a lot. But just make sure you give yourself enough time to do that. I know that's a lot of work, but it's still a lot shorter than those hands-on labs were. So just make sure you give yourself enough time. And you can send me a message if you have any questions, okay? Let's see. Also, I mentioned this last week, but there is an end of semester survey that you can take worth 5 bonus points. This is just a way for me to get some feedback from you on the different parts of this class, what you liked, what worked, if you had any suggestions, you can include those too. And I'll make it worth 5 bonus points. That's going to be due December 15th. That is the last day of the semester. So after that, you can't turn anything in for points. And then just a reminder, if you have missed an exam earlier in the semester, there's not many, but there's a few people who something came up and you had to miss an exam. That is going to be December 7th and 8th. That's next Monday and Tuesday. So you'll take that comprehensive makeup, and your grade on that will take the place of the 0 for your missed exam. All right. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. Just remember that the exam 5, and it's not comprehensive, it's just a regular test just on the plant structure and organization part 1 and 2. That one is going to be December 14th and 15th. So the following Monday and Tuesday, not next week, but the week after that. All right. If you have any questions on anything, let me know. Thanks.